quite obvious that we can see the presence of different camps, the traditionalists, modernists, and also some in the middle, moderates. Okay, can I say that? Yeah, and some of the traditionalists, they seem to be, concerning some issues, they seem to be at odds with Francis. And can I say that it may be God's plan to allow different camps to exist at the same time, because maybe some people are called to be more outspoken, to be prophets. Okay? And for an average lay person, for me, maybe our mission is just to keep, praying for the church. But we need not be too concerned. Okay, to be a contemplative means we believe that God is doing things. Okay, we are just maybe small potatoes. Okay, depending on our missions. We just offer our daily sacrifices, our daily prayers, and we are not in a position to judge. We must believe that the Lord is put in that position by God at this particular time. Yeah. Can I say so?
Yeah. It's not an answer, some ideas. I think that diversity in the church is good. There are different sensibilities, different styles, and that's good. That's good if we live it in a spirit of communion. I think this is very important, because today I perceive, even in religious blogs, a lot of aggressivity, and so sometimes I say to myself, is this about faith, about caritas, about Cardinal Newman tells the story, this cardinal of the 19th century who was Anglican and became Catholic and so on, that he was in Oxford or in Cambridge or I don't know where, and in the university, and he passed nearby a door and were shouting inside. He said, "What are they talking about?" "Oh, they are discussing about the love of God." They were shouting each other. "Oh, they are discussing about the love of God." So sometimes I feel sad about this atmosphere of confrontation. Saint Augustine said a sentence that should be in every heart, in essential things, unity, and secondary things, diversity, et in omnia caritas, and in everything, love and charity. I think that's, and sometimes that's not happening. That's the first idea. Second idea, the Spirit of God is a spirit of communion. Communion, koinonia. Communion doesn't mean uniformity. We are diverse in many things, but if something is not about communion, it doesn't come from the Spirit. It doesn't come from the Spirit. The devil divides. The Spirit creates communion. You remember where Jesus appeared after the resurrection? Always in meals. He must be hungry after 3 days dead, because always in meals. This is a very powerful sign, because the meal, the banquet in the New Testament, means the community, the kingdom, the banquet. So if there is communion, Jesus appears. You remember the disciples of Emmaus? They didn't recognize him. They recognized him when he broke the bread, in communion. So the Spirit of God is a spirit of communion. And the last thing, this is very personal, you don't have to agree. I've been 12 years trying to create communion and fighting, and when I finished, I said to myself, I'm not going to dedicate 1 minute to these fights between liberals and conservatives. What I am looking in my life now is the good, the noble, And there are people that are very conservative, that are wonderful, and there are people who are very liberal, who are wonderful, and that's what I'm looking, in this life. What is noble, what is holy, what is nice. And because I am 61, I consider myself young, but I have not much time to waste in these little wars, Some people love it, Some people love it. That's difficult to understand for me, that some people, the main aim of their lives is this, fight, liberals and so on. So I think we have to put in the center God, and God speaks in many ways, with many languages, and even you said something very important. Sometimes it can create also a scandal, for some people say, well, they are talking about charity and about communion, and look at them, And you said something very nice, to offer our sacrifices for the communion in the church. I think I think that's a holy aim. Yeah? So, thank you.
Okay, let us get
with the interreligious movement, what I understand is that if we have these three Jews, Muslim, and Christian, there is a reason for that. Do you think Titus Brandsma could say, blessed are the Muslims, blessed are the Jews, and blessed are the Christians?
Yeah.
Or is it too far?
He could have said that if he had lived a little bit more ahead. But he did it with the Protestants, with the Protestants and with the Orthodox. He was very much involved in the apostolate of reunification with the Eastern churches, Armenians and Greek and Orthodox and so on. He was very active in that, So he was not really about interreligious. That was too much for that time, but he would be in our times, because of this ecumenical spirit, ecumenical spirit. Yeah. You know that ecumenism, and I want to finish with this sentence because it's very powerful, so you keep that in mind. You know that ecumenism went ahead very much in the concentration camps. The week for prayer for the unity of Christians was born in the concentration camps. And the reason was, this is very interesting, a French thinker, Jean Guiton, explains this very well. He said the reason was that in the concentration camps, terrible experience, evil, death, crematorium, we Christians, you Catholic, you Anglican, you Orthodox, you Protestant, you Calvinist, we could share Jesus Christ is the Lord. The Lord is not Hitler. The Lord is not a gas chamber. The Lord is not a crematorium. Jesus Christ is the Lord. And we realized how important is this. We share something incredible. Jesus Christ is the Lord. Yeah? So that was a big input for the ecumenical movement. But if Titus had lived in our times, I'm sure he would be open to that also. Yeah.
Okay, let us give applause again.
Thank you. Applause for them.
And the second applause, asked by Father Fernando Millan. Applause for all of you.
Yeah. Great questions, really, very good questions. Thank you very much. Very, very deep questions. Thank you.
Yes, I have to acknowledge that I am very, very bad moderator. Because I hate what usually Indonesian moderators do in their workshops, seminars, and so forth. Usually they try to summarize what the speaker talked. And sometimes it comes out to be the second talk. So I don't want to do it, but I just want to share a little bit information. Perhaps you need it. I think you agree if I said that what Father Fernando spoke to us is really spirituality which is down to earth. It's not spirituality which we imagined before, that is something on the sky. spirituality is something on the earth. And because here there is one who is in favor of Benedictine, I think you ever heard about Anselm Grun, right? Anselm Grun. You know that?
German.
SP, right?
Yeah.
And he wrote a book, Heaven is Within You. So heaven is not up there. Heaven is here. So spirituality is about our life, our daily life. That's why we can understand why Titus Brandsma was so interesting to reflect on, because he lived spirituality on earth, not on the sky. And all of us who live on this earth need this spirituality. So let us learn about spirituality, because Anselm Grun said that there is no human without divine, and we cannot be divine without becoming human. So don't worry that you are very human, because if you're human, you are close to divine. I think this is very important. Okay, and before we conclude this session, I would like to inform you, because Father Fernando mentioned about lay people, Carmelite family, and so on. We are not only nuns, sisters, friars, priests, but we are also lay people. And just to inform you, to those who do not yet know about the existence of lay Carmelite in Hong Kong, right? And here there is a president of OCDs in Hong Kong, which is lay Carmelite of OCD. And we also here in Hong Kong have O.Carm lay Carmelite. So if you are interested in knowing more about Carmelite spirituality, there is no need for you to join friars, to be friars or nuns or sisters. Even as lay people, you can learn also about spirituality. Okay? And as I mentioned before, that here there is an icon of Titus Brandsma, written by Miss Marina Cindy, Carmel Cindy, and Father Fernando Millan will be happy to bless this icon before we